You're watching The Ready Writer, a show where I get to speak to writers of all different genres, mediums, and experiences. The Ready Writer. Are you ready?
Welcome to another episode of The Ready Writer. I am your host, Casey Bell, and today's writing guest is Lesanda Moore. Let's get the show started. Question: was becoming an author a dream of yours as a child?
Absolutely, absolutely. I can remember back when I was a child reading books and also writing my own stories and making what I know now to be dummies, to be storybook dummies. I actually would write the story and then draw out my own illustrations and make it into my own little book. I actually won a Young Authors Award when I was in elementary school. So I would say so. Yes.
Awesome. That's awesome. So when did you realize? When did you get to the point to where you realized you wanted to actually be an actual author, be serious about this?
Well, actually, I would say intentionally since I've been writing since I was younger. I've done poetry ever since, I used to write poetry and write music just for my own personal, as a hobby. I never shared it with others until years later. I would say maybe about a year and a half to putting pen to paper and actually writing, but actually studying the craft and learning about it and reading thousands of books. I have been doing that for maybe about 4 or 5 years, but maybe about a year and a half um, intentionally.
So reading books, did you also read books on how to publish? When did you how did you learn how to publish, and which road did you take?
Okay. I took self-publishing route because what I did learn about the traditional publishing route, I knew it was a lot of querying and finding agents, and I heard a lot of people talk about rejections, and even people that were published, how from start to finish, their book wouldn't be on the shelves for years. So I kind of started out knowing that I wanted to do self-publishing. I found people online. I found a Facebook group. I joined a Facebook group, six figure, I think it's six figure uh, self publishing secrets. It's with Crystal Swain Bates, and she's like a award winning self published author of children's books. I joined her group and did several challenges. And when I did those challenges, we learned so much. Like she taught us from start to finish, from coming up with the idea, writing the stories, hiring, all the freelancers we would need as far as illustrators, formatters, how to get our stuff copywritten. Like she taught us how to do everything, even how to upload, the stuff on Amazon, to find the right keywords to put to your book. So um, Facebook, Facebook group, Facebook group, just learning from other people.
What
So,
were some of the challenges you learned in publishing your book during the process?
hmm, okay. Definitely, I would say making sure when you're hiring freelancers that you really, really vet those people well, because some of the people are honest about the skills that they have and what they can produce, and others are not. And so you find out the hard way. And I would say that was one of the obstacles I've had since I started publishing was, thinking when I went with my first illustrator for my first children's book, she could do everything. So she could do typesetting, she can do formatting, she illustrated, she had everything ready to go in one piece that I could just publish and do the stuff that I had to do in the publishing end. But then I had the next illustrator that I hired for my next children's book. She said she could do those things, and yeah. So she was a wonderful illustrator, but she didn't have the typesetting skills. She didn't have the formatting skills. So when she sent me the finished product back, I was like, okay, Amazon is rejecting this. The sites that I'm uploading it to is rejecting it because there's certain things you have to do with the illustrations. You have to meet certain dimensions or it'll reject it. So I'm telling her this, and she was like, oh, well, can you help me do it? And I'm like, uh, no, I can't help you do it because that's why I outsourced and that's what I hired you to do. And you told me you can do it and you couldn't. So I was stuck with having to find someone else to do it. But yeah, so I would say just make sure you're vetting these people properly. Just save yourself the heartache, the headache.
Yeah, it sounds like a headache.
Yeah.
So tell us the name of your recent book and what is it about?
Oh, okay. So my recent children's book is called Zion Makes a New Friend. And it is a story about a young boy. His mom gets a job in a new city. So, of course, he has to leave all his old friends behind and start over again. So he's kind of nervous about making friends. So he comes up with this elaborate plan to make friends. And so in the story, it just goes throughout the course of maybe his first few days in school and his attempts to make friends or whatever. It's written in rhyme. So it helps get, it's fun. It has lots of colorful pictures. It has diverse characters. Like, it's an amazing story. And I'm not just saying it because I wrote it, because I'm also an educator. So I teach children how to read. So I think I can be a pretty good judge of character as to what they like, and what they enjoy to read, as opposed to it being a chore. It's a fun story.
Right. What inspired this story?
Actually, my oldest son, he is an adult now. And, the clothes thing, that's his thing. Like, he loves to get dressed. If he's going somewhere, he'll come in my room like 3, 4 different times, and he has all these different outfits, right? So I'm like, son, they all look good. Like, how many outfits are you going to change in and come into my room? So his name is Zion. So the character is really adapted after him. And he wears glasses and everything. He grew up wearing glasses. So the character in the book has glasses. Um, and so, like, his Zion's plan in the book is to he puts on different costumes because he's trying to impress people. And like the whole underlying theme of the story, yes, he wants to make friends, but it's on an even deeper level as to how we feel like we have to dress a certain way or act a certain way to get people to like us. And so I that's where the idea actually came from. So, yeah.
Awesome. So, um, what are you working on another book at the moment? It sounds like a series. Is this a series, Zion?
Well, it has, I have a companion color and activity book that I created that goes with it. So parents, teachers, if they purchase the book for their children, they can actually purchase the companion coloring book separately. And it has all of the original illustrations from the book. So they can actually color the costumes that he dresses up in however they want to. And then it has some extra illustrations and some little activities just to get their, their creative juices flowing. But I have another book, which was the one I spoke of earlier. It's called Rosie and the Unicorn Skates. I haven't yet had that completed. So that's almost ready to go, except I have to find someone to properly format it so that I can get it published correctly. After that illustrator, I actually hired somebody else, and he said he could do it, and he couldn't do it either. So that's why I say, like, you really, really have to vet these people. So make sure you go through programs or websites and stuff where you have type of security. If they don't produce what it is that they said they can produce, then you don't have to pay them. Like, I paid my illustrator because that was time spent, and I love the illustrations. So I paid her because I can get someone else to do the rest of it. So that wasn't it wasn't a loss, it was just a delay. It was just a delay. So as soon as I get a good formatter that can actually format it for me, then Rosie and the Unicorn Skates will be coming up next for my children.
Awesome. Did you use Fiverr?
I did. I used
Okay.
Upwork. I think I used Upwork to get Zion and the Unicorn Skates. My illustrator, she did my coloring book, and she did my the illustrations and formatting for Zion, and I got that on Upwork. But the other illustrator, I hired her on Upwork as well, which was why I was kind of like, Upwork is a little bit more, I feel like it's a little bit more security. It's but it just, I don't know. It's maybe also, I would say, because everybody that's on those websites are not based in the US.
Right.
So if there are other places in the world, even if they can speak English or they're fluent somewhat in English, I think, things can get lost in translation. So I think that was kind of what happened. So
I would definitely suggest attempting to use Fiverr. I used I'm assuming he can do the same thing. I used someone to format an ebook for me and Amazon, because when Amazon switched over from Create Space to KDP, they changed the way they format their ebooks.
Yeah.
And I could have learned how to do it. I didn't want to, so I hired someone to do it for me because
Right.
I
And
was like,
that's my thing too. If I'm doing the writing and the other stuff behind the scenes, like it's some things I want to outsource for because I have a lot of other stuff to do. Like I write adult fiction as well. So that's a whole nother avenue. But I wanted to outsource. For some things I wanted to outsource. I don't want to sit and learn how to, format these dimensions. I'll learn how to do that when I start to illustrate my own books. But now, if I'm paying somebody else, I want to outsource for that as well. So.
right. So other than checking the people you outsource, any advice you have to someone who is on the fence? I want to be an author. I'm not sure. They're not making a commitment. What advice or encouraging words would you give that person?
Two things. I would say just do it. Because if you want to be a writer, the only thing that's stopping you from being a writer is writing. Like we procrastinate all day and we'll do all this different stuff. Like for years, I learned about the craft of writing and I put it off for so long and I didn't put pen to paper. And once I did, I realized how much it would have benefited me to start writing before, so that everything I learned, I actually could understand it and apply it better, if that makes sense. Also, I would say, find some groups. It's Facebook groups out here. It's communities out here for you to get into. It's writing communities. You don't have to pay. It's other like-minded people that want to be authors or that are authors of all different levels. It's a great writing group I'm in on Facebook. I mean, these people are amazing. We're all over the world. They come on live, that we do live sprints together. We talk about our progress. Some days when we're not feeling like writing, we encourage each other. Like find a good writing community and start writing.
Thank you for that. All right. So last thing, any last words you would give to the children or parents who might consider getting your book?
Sure. I think Zion Makes a New Friend would be an excellent collection to any library. It's the perfect book for a read aloud in a classroom or daycare setting. It's also a perfect story for bedtime. The kids will love it. I mean, the kids are going to see themselves in the characters, from the teachers to the students. I think it's a great story, and I think your kid should learn about making friends the proper way and not putting on a mask or wearing a mask and going through life and just being who people think you should be in order to build some type of bond.
That is all the time we have for you today on The Ready Writer. I want to thank our guest, Lesanda Moore, and of course you, the audience. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.